There is no takeaway. The NFL did what they felt was necessary. The fallout was, 2 weeks ago. 33 fines, over $730,000 worth of fine both teams. That's it. I expect the Steelers to come into this game focused, ready to, proceed to keep that 6th seed. They benched Rudolph, obviously, because, if you go back to that game in Cleveland, he was obviously their best player with 4 interceptions. So they did what was necessary to help advance that. And when Pittsburgh plays at home, it's a totally different animal. I believe their last loss was to Baltimore, and that was in overtime. Action Jackson, they picked him off 3 times.
They did.
The whole team, it was, 277 total yards, for that whole game. So I expect the Steelers to go in there focused on what they need to do. The guys that were really, truly involved in this incident, Pouncey, he's not going to play. Rudolph, he's not going to play because they benched him. And Garrett won't even be at the game. So the focus is going in there, winning this game, and proceeding on to, continue to hold that 6th seed.
So what did you hear from Steelers, about Myles Garrett's allegation of the N-word?
The allegation of the N-word, I'm told, is an absolute false tale. For me, hearing that from them and knowing them, I believe them. And when I think of that, it makes me think that you didn't hear nothing of this until he actually had his hearing.
Yep.
So I believe he may have gotten to his hearing and said, I'm trying to lessen what I did, and have a reason for it, and said, you know what, he called me the N-word. And now maybe he didn't expect that to get pushed all the way out, but now it's out there. And now you're stuck with having to deal with this. With all the mics that they have on guys, cameras, microphones pointed, I don't see why they wouldn't be able to find out if this is true or false.
I hadn't thought about it that way.
Okay, so what's the ultimate punishment for Myles Garrett? What do you think?
For me, I believe he's out the rest of the season. I think next year they're going to proceed, give him another 4, maybe 6 games.
Ooh, next year?
Yes, yes. I'm going to make an example of you because I don't want anybody else to ever think that they can ever do this in a football game or a stadium in the NFL ever again.
And
would
you be good with that?
I would.
Wow. Because you've never seen anything like this.
I've never seen anything like that.
Every time
you
I see
think
the
about
video,
this, if you take, like he ripped his helmet off, so he had the front end. If he had hooked his hand underneath and came over the top, he could have literally killed that man.
I'm so surprised it didn't crack his head open.
You used it. He got the back end of the soft end of the helmet.
There's some.
He didn't get it with the top. He didn't get it with the crown.
He got him with the back end of the helmet, the most flexible part of the helmet, and that's really what saved.
Still got him good.
Every time you see it, it does.
You could see the cringe in the face. That's like that boxer that take that hit here, and his whole side of his face get readjusted.
Yep, readjusted.
Yeah.
So what do you think about 4 to 6 games next year?
Well, I said, Skip, at the original, I said I would be surprised if this doesn't bleed into next year. I was thinking somewhere around 2 to 4. I don't know about 4. They might be 4 to 6, but I've been hearing sources say they hope. What do you mean you hope, Myles Garrett, that this suspension doesn't bleed into next year? You control that. I mean, obviously you send him to counseling, and what? He says, I've learned my lesson. I'm sorry.
They're going to have him back to New York for another session to see if he's contrite or whatever.
Right. So it's going to be very interesting. But I would be surprised, Skip, if it's not at least a game or 2 bleeding into next year, because I agree with James, and I've said this. Punishment is not only about the offender, it's about to deter others from doing such said acts. And they want to send the strongest, harshest message they possibly can to let you know. We've seen this before. The message that they sent to another guy that did something that the NFL did not like and did not want to see happen again. The guy still isn't playing.
That is true.
For me, go ahead.
I said the day after, I said the rest of this year and 1 game next year, just as a message game to your point. Listen, the NFLPA is going to fight like crazy if they go more than 1 game. They might even fight the 1 game.
Oh, you fight all they want to. Yeah. This is something that you have never seen. This is unprecedented. Like, what could have been versus what actually happened, like premeditated versus actually getting the job done.
That is true. So how fortuitous is it that Mason Rudolph won't be playing in this game? Do you think that helps sort of, deflate the tension a little bit?
It doesn't deflate or add any tension to it. I'm telling you right now, the Steelers are past this. They're focused on what they need to do to advance into the postseason. This Mason playing or not playing is a great thing for them right now because he is not going to be there to like you
That's
said, kill
true.
them.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so they have Duck playing. They're going to go with him. He did a effective job last week.
He did.
They
By the
actually
way, Devlin Hodges is an undrafted rookie out of Samford, not Stanford, Samford.
Samford.
Yeah, nicknamed Duck.
Duck.
But he doesn't throw any ducks that I can see.
No.
Right?
No.
And for me, I don't believe Coach Tomlin made this decision like, oh man, this might reoccur again if I play. No, this is a decision based on play.
Yes.
If you look at Mason Rudolph, the way he played in that game
Yeah.
and the way he was playing last week in Cincinnati, he left Coach Tomlin no choice.
And you can't tell me he wasn't somehow distracted by all the fallout of it.
Yeah.
That it didn't take something out of him psychologically.
And plus, Skip, I'm in the 6th seed. I got an opportunity to make, as bad as we played, everything that's going wrong, we lost our quarterback like second week of the season, I still have an opportunity to make the playoffs. I'm putting the best 11 on offense, the best 11 on defense, and I'm going out there to try to maintain that. Because, Skip, I've traded a first-round pick to get Minkah Fitzpatrick. Now, I ain't really trying to be picking in the top 10. I'm trying to make that pick as low as I possibly can for the Dolphins.
Yep.
So, and I got a chance, and Mason Rudolph, whatever transpired, bro, you were awful against Cleveland, and you carried that right into Cincinnati. You were awful. So Coach Tomlin had no choice but to go this route.
No, I agree. So Cleveland is a 2.5-point favorite in what is a pivotal game for
them.
both, these
Yeah.
two,
Oh, yeah.
both teams. This is just me. I liked what I saw of Cleveland, albeit against Miami, but they started to feel like they were figuring it out. What's your gut on Cleveland?
I'm not buying into Cleveland.
Yeah.
I'm not. It's the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Come on.
They've won 3 straight, though.
They won 3 straight against the Steelers. He threw 4 picks. Come on. Actually, the best player for them was the quarterback for the Steelers. So before that, what was it? Buffalo. They just surprised them. They really, they got out and actually got lucky.
They're
with 3
just
points.
starting to look a little bit like what a lot of people thought they would look like from the start.
Yeah. I mean, if Cleveland, look, you can't protect Mason Rudolph because he's the quarterback. If I can't get him, I'm going to get somebody. Get the guy to play in that position. If I'm Cleveland, I'm playing physical. I ain't going to do anything dirty.
Right.
But you talk about physicality?
Yep.
Woo! Steelers, y'all ain't never seen physicality like this.
So you like Pittsburgh in this game?
Of course, they at home. You
At home?
see how they play at home.
You like Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
I like
No, I'm going
the
to take
visitors.
Cleveland. No,
Oh,
no,
well,
no,
you
no,
just
no,
switched.
No, I can't. Skip Duck. Duck. You going to take a
I
guy
know.
named Duck?
Okay.
They're going to run the ball.
The last great Duck I know was the 5 heartbeats. You remember Duck?
Listen, I'm going to tell you right now. Duck is going to go out there and duck goose all over them boys.
You said they gonna run-
Goose.
Okay?
I like
All right, Baker. Shake and bake might
I
be
think
back.
it might be a little bit more of duck.
TJ
don't want that Duck
and
either.
Bud Dupree go
they
ahead and
coming.
smack. Listen, come
They
on
come-
now.
they-
Stop it.
hey,
The
that
offensive line is not like that.
The Cleveland offensive line is terrible.
Okay?
They terrible. They terrible.
Cam, just go bull.
Okay, you got. I'm taking.
Get it. You better get over
you
here.
got a Pittsburgh.
I'm taking Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
You've been convinced.
I'm taking
Okay.
Pittsburgh.
Duck, duck, goose. We used to say duck, duck, gray duck in Minnesota. You always said duck, duck, goose.
Duck goose.
I think
Yeah,
that's a
duck, duck, gray
Minnesota
duck.
thing.
I don't know
Yeah,
what.
I never heard of that.
Never heard that?
Minnesota?